everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Luna Johnson from the GH Spoilers YouTube channel, and today is a wildly unpredictable Thursday here in New York. We've got rain pouring down, but the tea I'm about to spill is scorching hot. Let's dive right into the absolute madness that General Hospital just dropped on our screens. Okay, I literally cannot believe this. Can we please process this mess together? Might delete this later. But I seriously can't stay silent about this anymore. It is currently 3 a.m. My eyes are practically bleeding from screen glare, and I am severely sleep deprived. But I just had to hit record because this grueling decade-long journey has finally pushed me over the edge. I am ditching the script. I am breaking all the filters. I am here to deliver some unfiltered, hard truths because there are legends carrying this entire soap opera on their shoulders, while others are single-handedly testing my absolute sanity, and I am going to call every single one of them out right now. Please tell me I'm not the only one losing my mind over this. Look, we need to talk about the absolute state of Curtis Ashford. Basically, this man has been riding a high horse so tall, it is practically scraping the stratosphere. He has been acting like the ultimate protector, the macho guardian of the Ashford legacy, and honestly, it has been exhausting to watch. Listen to me. He assaulted a man in broad daylight at the Metro Court Gardens. He punched Dr. Isaiah Gannon, a brilliant, life-saving surgeon, so hard that Isaiah flew into a table and completely shattered his wrist. And why? Because Isaiah dared to gently place his hand on Portia's pregnant belly. Suddenly, Curtis goes into full territorial silverback gorilla mode, screaming about his child and completely losing his grip on reality. Wait, why are we like this? Why do we constantly excuse this toxic, the radioactive behavior from men who claim they are just protecting the family? Listen, the scene at the PCPD visitation room is a masterclass in psychological warfare and absolute narrative betrayal. Before Portia even walked in, Curtis was sitting there trying to sell his garbage narrative to Jordan Ashford. Basically, Curtis is sitting there behind the glass or across the cold metal table, looking so incredibly smug. He is radiating this putrid aura of self-righteousness. He actually thinks he is the victim here. He tells Jordan that everyone has their limits and Isaiah pushed him past his. Honestly, the delusion is terminal. He is sitting there in his bleak holding cell attire, and he is trying to spin this narrative that he is the ultimate family man who just did what he had to do to protect his pregnant wife from a predator. It is a major flex of pure, unadulterated narcissism, and I was literally screaming at my television. Suddenly, the heavy metal door clanks open, and the atmosphere in that fluorescent lit room completely shifts. In walks Portia Robinson. Look, Portia has been put through the absolute ringer over the years, but the woman who crossed the threshold of that interrogation room was not the crying, apologetic, compromising wife we have seen in the past. No, she was an absolute ice queen. She was practically vibrating with a cold, calculated rage that honestly sent shivers down my spine. The way the camera panned up her posture, she was rigid, unyielding, and fundamentally done with his nonsense. Basically, she let him talk. She let him dig his own grave with his teeth, and it was the most terrifyingly beautiful thing I have ever witnessed on this show. Curtis starts in with his manipulative gaslighting. He is trying to manipulate her psychology, saying he did it all for the baby, for their baby to protect their fragile family unit. He is weaponizing his own insecurities and projecting them onto Isaiah, acting like he is the grand savior of Port Charles. And Portia, she just stares at him. She doesn't interrupt at first. She lets him build this massive, towering monument to his own ego. She lets him paint himself as the martyr. And honestly, it is sickening to watch him try to justify destroying a man's life over a bruised ego. Unbelievable, guys. What's going on here? Suddenly, Portia reaches into her designer bag and pulls out a pristine manila folder. She doesn't yell. She doesn't scream. She just slams that folder onto the metal table. The sound literally echoed through my living room. Smack. It was a physical manifestation of her breaking point. She looks him dead in the eye and tells him that his insane, psychotic possessiveness has just forced her hand. She was going to wait. She was going to handle this delicately, but his barbaric display at the Metro Court completely destroyed any grace she was willing to give him. She points to the folder. It's a DNA test. I was literally screaming at my television. Look, she tells him, with a voice so devoid of warmth, it could freeze the harbor that the baby is not his. I repeat, the baby is not Curtis Ashford's. Honestly, the way his face fell, the way the smugness just evaporated from his pores, it was cinematic perfection. But she doesn't stop there, because Portia is out for blood, and she is taking no prisoners. She leans in, and she drops the absolute nuclear warhead of a truth bomb. The biological father of the baby is Isaiah Gannon. Yes, the man he just beat to a pulp. The man whose surgical career he just single-handedly destroyed. Isaiah is the father. I cannot process the magnitude of this karmic retribution. Curtis literally shattered the hands of the man who fathered the child he was claiming to protect. This is absolute terminal velocity, lore-shattering chaos, and I am here for every single second of it. Whoa, wait, my brain is short-circuiting. Because think about it. DNA tests in Port Charles are basically just suggestions, right? Like, I remember when we thought we knew who the father of everyone was. And then Helena Cassadine or somebody would just casually stroll in and swap a vial. I mean, I'm half expecting Victor's ghost to pop out of an air vent and claim he manipulated the centrifuge at General Hospital. Or maybe Jen Sidwell has a stake in this baby. What if the baby is actually a clone created in a Cassadine underground bunker? What if the test was run by Dr. Obrecht while she was drunk on schnapps and singing cabaret songs? The lore of this town is so broken that a piece of paper could mean literally anything. Whoa, I've really gone off chasing butterflies into another dimension. Bringing the signal back, let's stick to the script. The reality right in front of us is devastating enough without bringing in the Cassadine cloning vats. Basically, the truth is on that table in black and white, and Curtis cannot escape it. The DNA does not lie in this moment, and the psychological destruction it brings is unparalleled. Listen, the psychological fallout of this exact second is a total game changer. You can physically see Curtis's entire reality fracturing into a million jagged pieces. His eyes go incredibly wide. He looks at the folder, then at Portia, then back at the folder. The gears in his head are grinding, smoking, and finally catching fire as he realizes the sheer magnitude of what he has done. He didn't just assault a romantic rival. He assaulted the biological father of Portia's child. And worse, because of his blind, raging ego, he has permanently crippled a world-class surgeon. Isaiah's wrist is destroyed. His career is over. And Curtis did it all in the name of a delusion. Honestly, the irony is so thick, you could cut it with a scalpel that Isaiah can never hold again. Curtis wanted to be the hero. He wanted to be the big, strong man protecting his fragile, pregnant wife from the big, bad world. But in reality, he is the monster. He is the villain of his own story. He ruined a man's life over a baby that doesn't even share his DNA. Wait, why are we like this? Why do these characters always default to the most destructive possible actions before ever asking a single rational question? Curtis spent years blasting Portia for keeping Trina's paternity a secret, dragging her through the mud for lying. And now his own violent hypocrisy has brought this truth to light in the most brutal way possible. And Portia, this is her major flex. She doesn't shed a single tear for him. She doesn't offer him a shred of comfort, no hand-holding, no we will get through this together. She stands up, straightens her jacket, and basically tells him that he has destroyed everything. She tells him that this betrayal, this violent possessive madness, has created a chasm between them that can never ever be bridged. The Ashford family as we know it is dead. It is buried under the rubble of Curtis's toxic masculinity and unchecked rage. She turns on her heel and walks out, leaving him rotting in that cell with nothing but the ghosts of his own colossal mistakes. It is a low-key obsession of mine how coldly she executed this maneuver. Look, I am spiraling just thinking about how this fundamentally rewrites the entire dynamic of the show. Curtis is going to be haunted by this forever. He is sitting on that uncomfortable metal cot in the PCPD, completely broken, realizing that he has lost Portia. He has lost the baby he thought was his. And he is likely going to prison for aggravated assault on a medical professional. The sheer weight of the guilt is going to crush him into dust. He thought he was the king of the castle, but he was just a clown burning his own house down to the foundations. And what about Isaiah? Basically, this poor man came to Port Charles, caught feelings, got someone pregnant, and then got his hand smashed by a jealous maniac. How does he recover from this? He is a surgeon whose hands are his entire livelihood. The tragedy of it all is just staggering. Portia now has to go back to the hospital, face the man whose career her husband ruined, and tell him that he is the father of her child. The emotional wreckage is going to be unbelievable, and I honestly don't know how any of them move forward from this absolute nightmare. Honestly, I need to go lie down. Or maybe I need to watch that scene 5 more times. This is the kind of raw, unfiltered, devastating drama that makes me a legacy stan. It is narrative betrayal at its finest, a masterclass in consequences. Curtis Ashford played God, and now he is paying the ultimate price. Let me know in the comments if you are spiraling as hard as I am, because I seriously cannot process this alone. I am logging off before I completely lose my mind. Stay safe. Port Charles. Because the shockwaves from this are going to tear this town apart.